Hey, what's up everybody? Murk back here with some more Draft League content, and this is going to be my ICBA Week 3 match versus Alpha Lycanroc, coach of the Golden State Wartortles. So, coming into this game, we are 3-0 and Alpha is 2-1. We are division rivals, so I'm going to be keeping some trade secrets in the bin for this one if you catch my drift. Anyways, Alpha is very tough company and he has a very scary team. His roster is Landorus T, Heatran, Staraptor, Rotom Wash, Dragalge, Gardevoir, Meloetta, Sneasel, Ditto, Levani, and Mega Scizor. So as you see, the 6 he brought were Rotom Wash, Lando T, Ditto, Guard, Mega Sizz, and Heatran. And I had a very difficult time prepping for this game. This was definitely not a matchup that I was a fan of in the prep, and I had a lot of tinkering and a lot of difficulty coming up with a 6 that I wanted to bring. But in the end, I finally came up with the best 6 possible I felt against his team at the time. So those are Zapdos, Metagross, Scolipede, Manaphy, Snorlax, and Deoxys. So my Zapdos is a bulky set with it's somewhat offensive with Zap Plate so that I could 2-hit KO a lot of his team. I've got Defog on this because he had the potential to bring T-Spikes and Stealth Rock, and Sticky Web was a big one that I didn't want to deal with. Went back and forth a lot between what set I wanted on Zapdos, but I ended up going with Defog with just HP Ice T-Bolt Roost. No Heat Wave because I felt like I could pressure Scizor enough with Thunderbolt because Zap Plate, and I'm also Modest, so Modest, Zap Plate, T-Bolts do a lot of damage. This serves as a nice check to the Lando because I outspeed it. Serves as a good check to the Scizor, of course. I can get damage on the Heatran, I check the Rotom, and it do a lot of damage to it. This was a potential check to Staraptor, which was very scary, but it was mainly there to check his top 3 Mons, which were all very annoying. The set had difficulty dealing with the Dragalge, but he didn't bring it, thankfully, and he dropped it after this week, so I will never have to see it again on his team, hopefully. Yeah, definitely a good Mon to help check some things defensively and also be a nice offensive thing. Then I've got a nice AV Metagross because he's got 2 Psychic types and I don't have a Dark type on my team, so I needed a way to check those guys. And then Scolipede is a Life Orb set, just meant to put on a lot of offensive pressure against his team. He has Mega Sizz, which hard walls it, but if I can get rid of the Scizor, then Scolipede really does a lot against his team. And I found in my building that I was having difficulty with his Psychic types, so this was definitely good insurance to be able to hit those things extremely hard or just straight up one-shot him. So I felt that was necessary. And what else? So yeah, Scolipede, very big offensive threat, and we did actually bring Speed Boost on it this week. And then, probably the biggest threat to his team is my Manaphy, and I'm rocking the Waterium Z with Calm Mind Rain Rest, because if you look at his team, he doesn't have a water immunity. And overall, he has very little that can deal with this set. I specifically wanted the Z Rain, or the Waterium Z, so that I could take hits from the Sneasel and I couldn't lose my item. I couldn't get tricked by stuff like the Meloetta, Guard, or Rotom. And having the ability to set up the Z-Rain and be faster than his team while also being able to hardball his team and set up Calm Minds sounded pretty cool to me. So overall, this Manaphy set is a very big problem for his team. He has the Ditto, which can be annoying to it, but if he Scarf Ditto, he can't 1v1 me because Ditto only has 5 PP, and that means he only has 5 Scalds, and I can easily just Calm Mind and rest up against that. Then we've got a nice bulky Snorlax. This was meant to be kind of a meat shield against his team. If I could switch it into the Staraptor and force it to take a lot of recoil damage if he brought it, which he didn't, thankfully, that would have been nice for me. I believe he also traded away Staraptor, but I had enough so that I could take hits from stuff like that and get a lot of recoil and Scout. And it helped me check the Psychic types and dealt with the Rotom a little bit, so overall it's a pretty decent mon against this team. And lastly, we've got Deoxys Speed. I'm rocking a offensive Stealth Rocker set because this set does a fair bit of damage against his team. Offensively, he has nothing that can outrun this aside from Scarfers under Sticky Web. I actually outspeed, or Scarf Sneasel. I outspeed, with this set, I'm actually outspeeding a Scarf Staraptor because the threat of bringing like Banded Staraptor under Sticky Web was something I really didn't want to deal with, so having a way to guarantee outspeed it sounded really good to me. So Deoxys is nice to outspeed things. Of course, it also outspeeds like Scarf Rotom, Scarf Lando, Scarf Guard, even though I can't really touch Guard too much with my set. But overall, it is a very useful one against his team. And looking at his team, he basically brought everything I expected. I knew the 3 Lando, Sizz, and Heatran were coming. I figured the Rotom and the Ditto were coming, and it was just kind of a toss-up between Gardevoir or Meloetta. He could have brought some other mons on his team, but overall, I felt this was the most likely pairing, but he definitely had a lot of mons he could have brought against me. Definitely glad not to see like Staraptor or Dugalgi though, especially because those were threats that I didn't have a lot of answers to. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into it, as I believe I'm going to lead with my Zapdos, because nothing on his team really wants to take a Thunderbolt too much, and I do have HP Ice to hit the Lando. So he's going to lead off with his Rotom, actually, and this is fine with me because I can scout what kind of set it is and basically just drop a Thunderbolt on its head, and Zapplate Thunderbolt does a lot of damage against him, so I'm just going to click T-Bolt turn 1. I really doubt he's going to go hard into Landorus because I could have ways to just one-shot it, and he's actually going to reveal the trick right away, giving me a Choice Scarf and giving him a Zap Plate. So this is kind of okay because now I'm going to be able to outspeed everything on his team, though I kind of already did that with my speed investment, but T-Bolt does half, and now I'm going to hard switch into my Deoxys because I know he's going to go hard into his Landorus because it's immune. I did consider making the read of him going for the Volt Switch right there, predicting my double, which would have been a pretty impressive play on his part, but in the end I felt it was the safe play with Deoxys because I can threaten this thing out, so I feel like I can just threaten him out and go for the Stealth Rocks, but he's going to stay in, which I really didn't expect, especially since he had a Gardevoir which could wall me, and he's going to go for the knockoff, so I could have had like Z Psycho Boost to one-shot him, or Life Orb Psycho Boost, which I did. So interested on that play. He definitely could have been Yachi looking back at it, and if he was bulky, he could take a Life Orb Psycho Boost. But either way, I'm going to go into my Manaphy now and click Scald. I'm going to outspeed this, so it tells me he's probably bulkier. And I am going to get a burn on him, which is very, very helpful for me, because that means I can set up more easily on this thing, and I can deal with it better. He's going to go for the Toxic right here, which is very annoying. Well, actually, it's not very annoying because I have Rain Dance on this set, so the status isn't going to bother me too much. And Toxic overall was a good play because if I was a Tail Glow set, then he could get chip damage off of me and then come in with his Ditto and really threaten my team. So he's going to go into his Rotom now. The rocks are helping because I'm getting chip damage off on this thing, and Scald is going to do a tiny little chunk. I did consider like Calm Minding right there, but given that I didn't know what his team consisted of just yet, or what sets he had, I felt it was a little too early to set up with this, so I'm going to switch out. Also, shout out to Kendrick Lamar for dropping Damn, because that's what this team is named after. So I'm going to go hard into my Zapdos, because this is the thing that I don't mind switching into the most, because it's not very useful, since it's not as useful because it's Scarfed. And here what I can do is just drop a T-Bolt. He could have definitely predicted this and gone into his Lando, but if I went for the HP Ice, then he would have looked like a fool. So down goes the Rotom, which is nice because it would have been a little annoying, especially with like trick shenanigans against some of my bulkier mons. But now he knows I'm locked into T-Bolt, so he can go into his Landorus right there. So potentially I could have gone different directions that would have not let this Lando come in for free, because now he's going to be able to set up his Stealth Rock, which is going to be annoying for me. But I'm going to go into my Manaphy, and like I said, sets up rocks. So we've seen knockoff rocks and Toxic, so most likely his last move is Earthquake. But right here, I know this thing is pretty setup fodder, and because he hard switched in a Rotom no, that doesn't tell me much. He was probably sacking it off or something. I'm going to go ahead and Calm Mind here, though, as he goes into his Gardevoir. So him going into Gardevoir instantly tells me that it's Calm Mind, and the reason it's Calm Mind is because Calm Mind Manaphy is an enormous threat to his team, and a bulky Calm Minding Psychic with Psyshock 1v1's a Manaphy, especially if it's got Wish or if it has Rest Talk or something like that. And seeing leftovers further makes me think that it is a coal mining Gardevoir. So I'm going to go ahead and set up the rain right here. Just kind of scouting out what kind of set he is. I wanted to get this poison off because it was being very annoying to me. And notice that he did trace my hydration. So if he is a rest set, then that's like a really good counter prep for my Manaphy. And he is going to drop the Calm Mind. So now this is scary. And I'm kind of thinking, what kind of set will he be? Will he be Calm Mind Wish Protect with Mono Psyshock? That could definitely be something. But if he is that, then he can't really touch my Metagross. So the first thing I'm going to do is scout the damage, and I'm going to go for the Scald. I'm essentially at +1 right now, so this should do a little chunk, and that shows me that he is more a physically defensive set, and he's going to go for Calm Mind again. And now I'm a little scared because my Manaphy can't deal with this anymore. So what I'm going to do is go hard into my Metagross and try and threaten it out. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and switch out. Definitely don't want to lose my Manaphy because it's still a fantastic win condition if I can deal with this Gardevoir. And Metagross is a pretty solid check to this thing. So I can come in. He's going to go for the Psychic actually, which surprised me. I definitely think that Psyshock would have been the better move choice there because Calm Mind Wars. I don't know, I'm not super certain on why Psychic, but hey, he did it. So now I'm going to go ahead and click EQ right here, as it's my best move to hit him, and he's just going to stand and click Shadow Ball, which I don't especially agree with because since I'm an AV, I can take that hit, and if I did have Meteor Mash, I would have just been able to one-shot this thing, and then he would have lost his best check to my Manaphy, but he stayed in and just Shadow Balled me, so that's a little too bad. I'm going to keep on clicking EQ right here because it's my best move to hit it. I don't have Meteor Mash on this set. I just couldn't fit it on there with my other coverage moves. So he is going to rest up here and reveal the tech, the rest with hydration. So he's going to be able to get up to full health. However, my rain is going to end right here, meaning that he is going to stay asleep for the next 2 turns. So that's really good for me because that means I can gain some really crucial momentum off of him, and most importantly, just threaten this thing out. So I have to go hard into my Scolipede because I need to get this thing out of my face. I can't really deal with it all that well when it's at +2/+2. So I'm going to go ahead and go into Scolipede and double right on out into my Zapdos, trying to catch basically anything that's trying to switch in. I thought he'd go into the Scizor because Scizor just completely hard walls my Scolipede, but he's going to go into the Landorus, which could have been smart given that I could have tried to Speed Pass, and getting an Intimidate off on me would have lowered the speed. Well, what would I have Speed Passed into really that would benefit from the attack? No, I'm rambling. Anyways, I'm gonna go for the Defog right here, which was kind of a mistake because Burn is not going to be able to knock him out with the next round. So, and he's going to be able to. Whoops. No, come on, thing. Okay. Anyways, he's going to go for the Toxic right here. And I realized I misplayed by clicking Defog the moment I went for it. I really should have just HP Iced and killed the Lando because I could have Defogged later on because I had one more switch into Rocks. But after the Toxic damage, I no longer can switch into Stealth Rocks. So I definitely misplayed bad there. And what I'm going to do now is just go into my Manaphy because this thing really can't touch me. And I know he's just going to click Stealth Rocks. So in that exchange, I lost my Stealth Rocks and he got them up. So that was definitely a bad play on my part. I felt really stupid after making that play, but however, Manaphy is here, and his Gardevoir is asleep, which is very good for me, and now he's going to go into his Heatran, and him going into Heatran is the most obvious Bloom Doom of my entire life, so scouting for it, I'm just going to go ahead and sack off my Metagross right here, because it's dead to rocks. So I have 2 months dead to rocks right now, which isn't ideal. But it does give me sack fodder, which is helpful. So he is actually going to just pull the trigger right away and go for the Bloom Doom, which is huge for me because now that he's busted his Z move, which most likely was Solar Beam, he can't do anything to my Manaphy because I can set up the... If he goes for the Solar Beam, I can Calm Mind, and then on the next turn I can set up the Rain and have the damage from Solar Beam because Solar Beam does half damage in weather that's not sun. support, just so you know. So I'm going to go right into my Manaphy now and click Calm Mind because I can set up on this thing. And he is going to go for the Magma Storm. He's going to miss, which is helpful for me because I'm not taking that chip. And now what I'm going to do is go for the Scald. And I went for the Scald right here in case he tried to hard into his Gardevoir thinking I'd go for the Rain Dance. And now he's going to go for the Magma Storm. So that's going to do a little bit of chip damage right here. It doesn't do very much, and had I set up the Rain on this next turn, I should definitely be able to take the Magma Storm damage plus the secondary Magma Storm hit, but I'm going to opt to go for the Scald and knock out this Heatran. So we're in a pretty interesting spot right here. Getting rid of Heatran is very helpful because it was a big annoyance to my Snorlax, and he's going to go out into his Ditto right here. So what I can do against this Ditto is I can go for the Z Rain Dance and basically make it so if I win a speed tie, I can just win the game with my Manaphy. Obviously, if I set up against a Heatran, I would have been in a better position, but, you know, I didn't make the greatest plays in this game, but my prep, I felt like, was good enough to win it for me. So I'm going to go for the Z-Rain Dance and get my speed boost, so now if he is Scarfed, it is a speed tie, and we're going to set up the Rain. So if I can win the speed tie and get a rest off, then I'm in a fantastic position to win this game. So can we do it? Can we win this tie? We are. We're going to go for the rest. He did confirm after that he was Scarfed, and I'm going to be able to get up to full. And this essentially means, unless he crits me, I'm going to be able to win the game with my Manaphy. So he's going to go for the Scald. It's going to do essentially nothing because, yeah, it just doesn't do much. And I'm going to get my hydration so I can wake up, and now I'm going to start firing off Scalds. He's going to switch out and go into his Gardevoir right here, and the reason I didn't go for the Calm Mind was because this Gardevoir was still alive and kicking, and it could be a big annoyance to my team. So, since I'm essentially at +2, Scald will be able to 2-hit KO this thing, and it does. So, the Gardevoir is going to die on the next turn to Scald. If he wants to go back into his Ditto, then he's taking a chunk off of that for really no reason. So he's forced to sack off his Gardevoir right here, which is really good for me. And down it goes. And now we are in a position where all he has left is the Mega Scizor and the Ditto, and he really just can't do anything to break my Manaphy at this point unless he gets very, very lucky against me. So what I'm going to be able to do is fire off a Scald right here, and this is going to do heavy, heavy damage to the Mega Sizz because it's +1 in the Rain, and Mega Scizor is bulky, but it's still not going to appreciate this hit. So I'm going to go for the Scald, and this is going to do a shit ton. It's going to do over half, definitely showing he is a more specially defensive set, which I expected, just kind of based on how my team is. And he's going to go for the knockoff right here, showing me that he doesn't have a bug move to hit me with. Turned out after the game that he had a counter on it so that he could check my Snorlax, I guess. But I'm going to go for the Scald right here. Because the Rain's gone, I'm not going to be able to knock it out, but I do get a really nifty burn. And because I burn him, that means that I can set my Rain back up and get up to full health so that I can counteract his Ditto as best as I possibly can. He's going to go for the Bullet Punch. This does absolutely no damage, and I'm just going to be able to Rain Dance up, and then I can rest on the turn after. And if he wants to try and roost up against me, then I can just start Scalding it, and Scald is a 2-hit KO in the Rain, so what you gonna do? He is in range of one more burn, so what I'm gonna do is just click rest. There's really no point for him to roost up against me. He's just gonna go for the Bullet Punch, and that does absolutely nothing, and I'm gonna be able to get my health back up to full with the rest, and all he's going to have left after his Scizor dies to burn is that Ditto, which is not gonna be able to beat my remaining 4 Mons. So this means that my team, I'm going to be able to win this game, and unless he haxes me with his Ditto, which, spoilers, he does not, we are going to get a 4-0 victory. So, yay! He's going to go into the Ditto. Because of how Ditto works, he only has 5 Scalds. He only has 5 of each of my PP, and since he is Scarfed, he is basically forced to just keep on spamming Scald. And unless he gets a multitude of crits in a row, he cannot beat me. So all I have to do is just start spamming Scald, clicking Rain Dance and rest when I want to heal myself back up, and I can earn a 4-0 victory against him. He's going to get the burn there, so I'm saying so a lot, and I'm sorry about that. Scald comes out. and it's just a speed, well no, it's actually not a speed tie at this point because now he's at +2 speed, but I can keep on firing off Scalds. He's fired off 2 so far, so he only has 3 left, and I can PP stall this thing out and force it to struggle, which I thought would be kind of funny because I'm a sadistic person, I guess. We're just going to keep on trading off Scalds, and the rain is about to run out. He goes for the Scald, I go for the Scald. I'm doing slightly more damage to him because Ditto's HP stat is lower than Manaphy's by a lot. And what I can do here is I know that Scald plus a rain boosted Scald can't kill my Manaphy, so what I can do is just go for the Rain Dance, go for the rest, and then I will be able to win with my Manaphy at full health because I wanted to get the 4-0 victory. I wanted to get as much differential as I can so I can pad it so that I have a lot more leniency in the weeks to come. Because 10-week season means there's a lot more of a rush to get as many wins as you can early and to try and clinch as early as I can. So that's the thing. We're going to rest up, and after this, he's now out of Scalds, and he's forced to struggle here. I'm hoping he doesn't kill himself to struggle so that I can get another kill with my Manaphy. And he is going to go for the struggle. It does nothing, and he's going to live the recoil damage, and I'm going to be able to knock it out with the Scald. So that gives Manaphy 5 kills on the game, putting it to 8-0 on the season at the top of the MVP race, which I think is pretty dang cool. So that's going to be the game. We are going to take it 4-0 against Alpha. He was a little upset that I was able to win that speed tie with my Manaphy. It definitely helped, and I think I could have won the game regardless, but it would have made it more difficult. Definitely would have made it more difficult to win and would have been a lot closer. But Manaphy pulls through. Manaphy is clutch, and it's doing all the work in these first few weeks so far. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, drop a like, leave a comment. Make sure to go check out Alpha's channel. He has some pretty good Draft League content. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.